Many parents want their teenagers to be creative. They want them to have ideas. They want them to express themselves. They want them to build something original in a world where AI can generate almost anything. Yet creativity is often misunderstood. We imagine it as a lightning strike, a mysterious gift, a sudden burst of originality that arrives from nowhere. And when a teenager does not feel that lightning, they may assume they are not creative. They may say, "I do not have ideas." They may wait for inspiration. They may compare themselves to people online and feel small. AI can make this feeling worse. Everywhere they look, images appear instantly. Songs can be generated. Videos can be created. Apps can be prototyped. Logos, stories, scripts, websites, and designs appear in seconds. For a teenager, this can feel exciting. It can also feel strangely intimidating. If a machine can create so quickly, what does my creativity mean? That question deserves care, because the future does not remove the need for human creativity. It changes where creativity lives. The creative edge moves from merely producing material to directing imagination. It moves into taste. It moves into judgment. It moves into knowing what is worth making. It moves into the ability to study what already exists, remix it with purpose, and build something that carries a point of view. This is why teenagers need a healthier understanding of creativity. Creativity rarely begins as pure originality. More often, it begins as apprenticeship. A young creator studies examples. They imitate patterns. They copy structures. They absorb styles. They notice how strong work is built. Then slowly, through practice, they combine influences in ways that become their own. This is not cheating. This is how learning works. A musician learns songs before composing. A writer reads before writing. A designer studies layouts before creating a visual identity. A coder examines examples before building a product. An athlete copies movement before developing style. A speaker listens before finding a voice. The beginner who refuses to learn from models often stays trapped. The beginner who studies models gains a language. And once a teenager has a language, they can begin to say something new. This matters urgently in the AI age, because AI can give your teen access to more models than any previous generation. It can show variations. It can compare styles. It can explain why something works. It can generate practice examples. It can help a teenager move from blank page to first draft. Used wisely, AI can become a creative studio. Used passively, it becomes a machine that produces on behalf of a mind that remains undeveloped. The difference is intention. A passive teen asks, "Make something cool." A stronger teen asks, "Show me 5 examples and explain the pattern." A passive teen accepts the first output. A stronger teen asks, "What is weak here?" A passive teen copies the surface. A stronger teen studies the structure. A passive teen wants the machine to be creative. A stronger teen uses the machine to become more creative. That distinction will matter more every year, because the world will overflow with generated content. There will be more images, more videos, more writing, more products, more noise, and as output becomes easier, taste becomes rarer, judgment becomes rarer, a clear point of view becomes rarer. A teenager who can direct AI creatively will need more than prompts. They will need references. They will need standards. They will need the ability to say, "This is strong because." They will need the courage to say, "This looks impressive, yet it does not work." How does a teenager build that? They study examples. They build specific skills. They practice making real things. Specific skills matter because broad labels can mislead us. We often say a teen needs creativity, or critical thinking, or communication. Those words are useful, though they can become too vague. A teenager becomes creative in a field by doing the work of that field. The teen who wants to make music needs to understand sound, rhythm, mood, and structure. The teen who wants to build apps needs to understand users, screens, logic, and testing. The teen who wants to create videos needs to understand pacing, story, visuals, and emotion. The teen who wants to lead needs to practice explaining, deciding, and taking responsibility. AI does not erase specificity. It makes specificity more valuable. Because the more specific your teen's understanding becomes, the better they can direct the tool. A vague prompt produces vague work. A trained eye produces sharper direction. This is why Just Learn AI is incomplete advice. AI is powerful, yet it needs a domain. It needs taste. It needs purpose. It needs a young mind that has practiced something deeply enough to know what good looks like. Picture two teenagers using AI to create a short film. The first teen asks for a story, accepts the script, generates visuals, puts music underneath, and uploads it. The second teen studies short films first. They look at openings. They notice how tension is created. They compare endings. They ask why one scene feels emotional and another feels flat. Then they use AI to generate possibilities. They reject some, they refine others. They adjust the pacing. They choose a visual style that matches the emotion. They test the first version with friends. They rebuild the ending. Both teens used AI. Only one grew as a creator. This is the kind of difference parents need to learn to see. The question is not only, what did my child make? The deeper question is, what did my child learn to notice? Because creators notice. They notice what others miss. They notice structure. They notice friction. They notice gaps. They notice what feels alive and what feels empty. They notice when an output is technically fine and emotionally weak. That noticing becomes the foundation of originality. AI can support this beautifully. Your teenager can ask it to analyze great examples. They can ask for comparisons. They can ask for breakdowns. They can ask for variations in tone, format, or audience. They can use it as a rehearsal room. They can create 10 rough versions before choosing one direction. They can learn faster because the loop between idea and output is shorter. Yet the teen must remain awake in the loop. They must choose. They must critique. They must connect the work to a real human purpose. This is where parents can help without becoming creative directors. You can ask simple questions. What examples did you study before making this? What did you copy on purpose? What did you change? What did you learn from the strongest version? What would make this more useful for a real person? These questions do something important. They teach your teen that copying a surface is shallow. Learning from a model is intelligent. There is another truth parents should understand. As skills grow, they become invisible. When someone becomes experienced, they often forget how much they know. A talented designer may glance at a page and instantly feel that something is off. A strong writer may sense that a sentence lacks rhythm. A good coder may recognize a bug pattern quickly. A confident speaker may adjust a story in real time. To the beginner, it looks like instinct. Inside the expert, years of practice have become automatic. This is why teenagers need guided exposure to strong work. They cannot develop taste only by hearing advice. They need to see examples. They need to compare. They need to imitate. They need to practice until some parts become natural. AI can speed up that exposure. It can create the practice environment. It can make hidden structures visible. Yet it cannot care on behalf of your teen. It cannot decide what your teen values. It cannot give your teen a voice that has never been practiced. Voice is earned through use. Taste is earned through attention. Creative confidence is earned through building. At Super Learning, we believe teens should move from consuming content to creating value. That value can take many forms. An app that helps students organize revision. A video that explains a difficult concept. A song that captures a feeling. A campaign that serves a community. A prototype that solves a small, real problem. The form matters less than the shift. The teenager begins to see themselves as a builder. And once a teen sees themselves as a builder, school changes, AI changes, the future changes. They stop waiting to be handed a path. They start asking what they can create with the tools in front of them. This does not mean every teenager must become an entrepreneur. It means every teenager should experience the dignity of making something real, something that did not exist before, something that carries their choices, something that reflects their thinking, something that can be improved because it is in the world. This does not mean every teenager must become an entrepreneur. It means every teenager should experience the dignity of making something real, something that did not exist before, something that carries their choices, something that reflects their thinking, something that can be improved because it is in the world. That is how confidence grows. Through visible proof, through projects, through the honest experience of making, testing, and improving. Parents often ask, how do I prepare my teen for a future I cannot predict? One answer is this. Help them become a learner who can study models and a creator who can build from them. A teen with that ability can enter new fields. They can learn faster. They can use AI with intention. They can build a portfolio of proof. They can develop a voice in a world full of generated noise. The future does not need more passive consumers of intelligent machines. It needs young people who can bring human intention to powerful tools. Young people with taste. Young people with standards. Young people who can learn from what came before, then build something that deserves to exist. So when your teenager says, "I am not creative," you might gently tell them, "Creativity is trained. Start by studying what works, then build your version." That may be the beginning of a new identity. A young person who does not wait for inspiration. A young person who learns the craft. A young person who uses AI as a studio for becoming more capable. This is Ariana Minsky, and this is Super Learning.